That information came direct from Meghan's ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, via an intermediary. And obviously Trevor Engelson is a very successful TV producer. He now has his own family. He's very happy. He hasn't spoken on the record.
Have you ever seen someone spend millions on PR, only to destroy it all with one sentence? Well, Prince Harry did exactly that. And it didn't take a comedian, a cartoon, or the press to take him down. Nope, he managed to embarrass himself, live on stage in front of millions. And once you see it, you'll never look at him the same way again.
A moment where Meghan Kelly reveals that Meghan Markle married for money, that she planned it all from the beginning, and the vision board with Prince Harry on it was revealed to her by someone who knew Trevor Engelson.
He stayed quiet for over a decade. Not a word, not a headline, not even a shady tweet. And then, boom, Meghan Markle's ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, finally let the world in on what really happened. And let's just say, it wasn't the fairy tale version Meghan's been selling. According to insiders, Trevor didn't go to the tabloids directly. He slipped his side of the story through an intermediary, which honestly makes it even juicier. It's like leaking the answers to the test without ever holding the pencil. Now, here's the funny part. Trevor's living his best life. He's remarried. He's got a family. He's a Hollywood producer who doesn't need this drama. Meanwhile, Meghan, reportedly fuming behind palace-sized walls, screaming at her staff, and demanding to know how the story slipped out. Imagine playing damage control as your full-time job at this point. Her PR team deserves hazard pay. And the kicker, for someone obsessed with image control, Trevor's brutally honest revelations were like dropping a hammer on the glass mirror she's been polishing for years. Cracks everywhere.
Narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim. My castle's too small. The queen is mean to me. They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm going to put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends, while she never stops whining. And at the same time, I'm getting all worked up. That business, I'm a founder.
The headlines hit, and Meghan allegedly lost it. Eyewitnesses say she stormed into a private meeting, slammed the door so hard the walls rattled, and lit into her press team like they'd personally leaked the story. Staffers claim she was shouting that Trevor was supposed to be silenced forever. Honestly, if you're gonna plot someone's silence, maybe don't say it out loud in front of your employees. The mood got so hostile that some staffers quietly walked out, which, let's be real, is probably the most relatable thing anyone in her orbit has done. Imagine being yelled at because your boss's ex-husband still has a pulse and an opinion. That's not a job description. That's a hostage situation. By midday, her lawyers were already firing off cease and desist letters like confetti at a wedding. Reports even claim she wanted a gag order drafted against Trevor. Except there's one tiny problem. He never signed an NDA when they divorced, which means legally he can spill the tea until the kettle runs dry. And here's where it gets interesting. Legal experts say her reaction speaks louder than Trevor ever could. If his claims were false, she could have just laughed it off or denied it. Instead, she went nuclear, which makes you wonder, what else is she afraid he might say?
She married for money. It's very clear. She bagged the elephant. She was thrilled. She became a, quote, princess.
Well, you can...
It was planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it. And
Before they met?
Yes. And she wants to
That's
pretend.
impressive. You got to admit that is impressive.
She nailed it, yeah.
As if Trevor's silence breaking wasn't enough, the details that surfaced were brutal. According to sources, Meghan never just fell in love with a prince. Nope. The word floating around is strategy. Reports claim she literally had a vision board with Prince Harry's face on it before they even met. Forget dreaming about your dream car or house. Apparently, Meghan was out here manifesting a whole royal husband. That's not a relationship. That's a business plan with wedding vow. And then there's the money factor. Insiders say Trevor revealed she married for status and security, not love, which, to be fair, explains a lot. Remember, this is the same woman who once returned an engagement ring to Trevor by mail. Amazon Prime returns are handled with more warmth than that. Naturally, Meghan denied ever being interested in the royal family. But let's be real, You don't just slap a prince on your vision board because you like his haircut. The whole thing screams planned from the beginning. And now that it's public, people are connecting the dots she worked so hard to erase. And here's where the story takes a darker turn. Meghan reportedly believes this revelation was orchestrated. In her mind, the royals themselves timed Trevor's confession to sabotage her next big project, a full-on conspiracy. But to her critics, it's not sabotage. It's just her past finally catching up.
That Meghan Markle did plan this, but what is new in terms of Megyn Kelly's revelation is that it is Trevor Engelson, via an intermediary, who has revealed this story, this existence of the mood board featuring Prince Harry. And let's just remember for a moment, Megyn Kelly is one of the world's greatest independent journalists.
When the news broke, Meghan's team tried to spin it, but instead of standing tall, she reportedly pulled the plug on multiple public events. A women's business summit in Los Angeles, canceled. A charity Q&A in New York, suddenly rescheduled. PR insiders say the reason was simple. She was too unstable to face questions about Trevor. And honestly, who could blame her? Imagine sitting on stage, trying to preach empowerment, while the first reporter in the room shouts, "Did you really have a Prince Harry vision board?" There's not a TED Talk in the world that recovers from that. But here's the thing. In the court of public opinion, silence rarely looks like strength. Critics argued that a woman with nothing to hide would have faced the controversy head-on. Instead, Meghan ducked out, leaving empty chairs and headlines screaming about her absence. The result? A PR nightmare. What could have been written off as gossip turned into something bigger. The image of a duchess in hiding, afraid of her own shadow. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get stranger, insiders dropped the most bizarre claim yet. Just when you thought the drama couldn't get any stranger, insiders revealed Meghan's secret weapon for stress, the so-called rage room. Yes, you heard that right. A private, soundproof section of her Montecito mansion, allegedly dedicated to screaming, throwing things, and letting it all out. Forget meditation or yoga. Apparently, smashing vases is the wellness routine of choice. One former staffer claimed the room is furnished specifically to handle destruction. Heavy curtains to block the noise, breakable items to get it out of her system. This week alone, she supposedly shattered 2 vases and kicked over a lamp after seeing her name trending under Trevor Tells and Meghan Exposed. Honestly, if hashtags are setting off home decor casualties, maybe Twitter should start charging her a damage deposit. And while the existence of the rage room hasn't been officially confirmed, the stories keep piling up. Insiders say it's become a running joke among staff. Don't bother Meghan, she's redecorating with her fists again. Funny or not, the symbolism is brutal. To critics, the rage room isn't just a space in her house, it's a metaphor for her entire public image. Fragile, explosive, and one bad headline away from shattering completely. While Meghan was allegedly smashing lamps, Harry's reaction was the opposite. Quiet, but telling. Insiders say he's embarrassed, retreating into private spaces at their mansion just to escape the chaos. One source even claimed he's grown tired of defending her, warning Meghan to stop blaming the palace for every problem. For a man who once promised to shield her from the world, his silence now speaks volumes. If Meghan thought the headlines were bad, the internet was much worse. Within hours, hashtags like Trevor Tells the Truth and Meghan Exposed were trending globally. Thousands of tweets poured in, praising Trevor for finally speaking out. People weren't just sharing memes, they were rewriting Meghan's entire story in real time. What used to be fan accounts defending every move suddenly went quiet. Even longtime supporters began questioning how much of her public persona was carefully manufactured. Podcasts that once painted her as a misunderstood duchess now sounded like reruns of a bad reality show. One viral post summed it up perfectly. Trevor stayed silent for years. That silence was class. What he just revealed, that was true. Another read, his dignity speaks louder than Meghan's documentaries ever did. And when random users on Twitter sound more believable than your multi-million-dollar Netflix series, that's a PR disaster you can't buy your way out of. Critics piled on, pointing out how her entire brand, empowerment, authenticity, resilience suddenly looked hollow. The vision boards, the interviews, the podcasts, everything started being rewatched through a new, more suspicious lens. What once seemed inspiring now felt rehearsed. And here's the kicker. While Meghan stayed quiet, that silence wasn't seen as grace. It was seen as guilt. The public read it not as strength, but as proof she had something to hide. Every hour she didn't respond, the hashtags grew louder. By the end of the week, the tone had shifted completely. She wasn't the victim anymore. She was the villain in her own reality show. And Trevor, the man she thought was silenced forever, had suddenly become the unexpected hero of the internet. Here's the scary part for Meghan. Insiders say Trevor might just be warming up. Word is he held back the worst details out of respect, but friends claim he has receipts, and he's considering a memoir or a second interview to set the record straight. If that happens, Meghan's current meltdown could look like the calm before the real storm. For years, Meghan polished her brand as the silenced duchess turned global icon. But Trevor's revelations cracked that image wide open. Suddenly, old interviews and Netflix scenes looked less like authenticity and more like acting. Supporters began rewatching her speeches with suspicion, noticing contradictions she worked hard to bury. Social media exploded with side-by-side clips mocking her privacy pleas, while cameras rolled for her docu-series. Even longtime fans went quiet, questioning why she canceled events instead of facing the story. Meanwhile, headlines branded her the Duchess of Drama and the Vision Board Princess. And perhaps the cruelest twist, Trevor's calm dignity now speaks louder than Meghan's multi-million-dollar PR machine. For someone obsessed with controlling the narrative, this wasn't just a bad week, it was the unraveling of her entire public image. If Meghan thought Trevor's words were the end, insiders say she should brace herself, because he may have only scratched the surface. Friends claim he held back out of respect, but he has receipts, and talk of a memoir or second interview is already swirling. That threat alone has her legal team scrambling. But here's the truth, unless he signed an NDA, they can't stop him, and that's the real danger. Meghan built her post-royal life on carefully curated stories, but Trevor's account doesn't come from tabloids, or the palace, or anonymous sources. It comes from someone who knew her before the fame, before the crown, before the cameras, and that makes it powerful. Now her silence doesn't look like grace, it looks like guilt. Her threats don't look commanding, they look desperate. And her image, it's unraveling faster than her PR team can patch it together. Trevor finally spoke. The only question left is, who's next?
The next, it's very disturbing. And he's a very vulnerable person, and she's taken 100% of that.
Many warnings can you receive? I mean, we obviously know via Tom Bower that Meghan Markle returned her engagement ring to Trevor Engelson via the post. But the fact that you're actually so blatant in terms of the fact that you want this famous royal, and specifically you want Prince Harry, because my reporting on Meghan Markle's early life in London, Angela, made it very clear that she was looking for a celebrity.